Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this comprehensive update on the escalating conflict in the Amhara region, where intense fighting persists between the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, ENDF, and Amhara Fano forces. The evolving nature of the situation has prompted us to gather the latest reports from diverse sources to offer you a detailed understanding of the ongoing clashes and their impact on various regions. Commencing with the town of Mersa, situated in northern Wello, it has become a focal point of the conflict. Intense fighting has erupted in various parts of the town following the entry of Fano forces. Disturbingly, reports indicate that ENDF soldiers have incurred losses during these clashes, underscoring the severity of the situation. Transitioning to Debre Birhan city in northern Shua, the conflict has manifested in 3 distinct areas in and around the city. While there are no reported casualties at present, both sides have suffered losses, emphasizing the ferocity and evenly matched nature of the confrontations. Southern Gonder has also witnessed its share of turmoil, with reports from Luwe, Ashama, Abba Seyum Gedem, Sona Georgis, and Shamotela detailing sporadic gunfire in the region, underscoring the volatility that residents are grappling with. In Luwabe, within the same southern Gonder region, Fano forces executed a successful ambush on 5 ENDF military vehicles, resulting in the destruction of 4 of them. This strategic move highlights the tactical prowess of the Fano forces in this protracted conflict. The situation in Tatro BR, northern Gayant, situated in southern Gonder, is particularly dire. Intense fighting has transpired, leading to significant losses for the ENDF. Reports indicate that several ENDF soldiers have lost their lives, and numerous others have been wounded, further emphasizing the human toll this conflict is exacting. Tragically, in Ergo Meda, Chaldeba, Western Gonder, Fano forces carried out a devastating ambush, resulting in the deaths of 7 leaders. Among the casualties were Amhara militia leaders, police leaders, local leaders, and prosperity leaders. The use of an ambulance as a means of transport underscores the ruthlessness of the attackers and the challenges faced by those providing emergency services. Shifting to Lechadera in southern Gonder, intense fighting erupted in the afternoon, resulting in reported injuries on both Fano forces and ENDF soldiers. This further illustrates the widespread nature of the conflict, affecting multiple areas and communities within the region. In Imba, Dembia, situated in central Gonder, intense fighting has been reported, though as of now, no confirmed casualties have been documented. Jiga, Finote Salam, situated in eastern Gojam, reports indicate that a fierce clash occurred for a duration of 2 hours yesterday. Both conflicting parties sustained losses, underscoring the intensity and the toll exacted by the engagements. Shifting to Tiliti, Awi Zone, Western Goyam, the region experienced sporadic gunfire, although there are currently no confirmed reports of casualties. This sporadic nature of violence adds an unpredictable dimension to the security situation in the area. In Kamir Gingay, southern Gonder, a gunfire exchange unfolded between the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, ENDF, and Amhara Fano forces. The dynamic nature of the conflict in this region highlights the challenges faced by both military entities. Moving to Karamesheg in northern Shua, the conflict has prompted Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to deploy drones to the area for reconnaissance purposes. This technological intervention reflects the government's strategy to gather crucial intelligence amidst the ongoing hostilities. In Bahir Dar city, northern Gojam, Fano forces reportedly captured the Amhara Prosperity Party district leader Desaleng Abe. This development underscores the impact of the conflict on political figures within the region. Shifting our focus to Sudan, reports indicate that Tigray soldiers are fighting as mercenaries for General al-Birhan. This externalization of the conflict adds a transnational dimension and further complicates the geopolitical landscape. In Debre, Mertu Lamariam, Western Wello, a tragic incident unfolded as ENDF soldiers allegedly murdered one Amhara civilian. Such instances of civilian casualties emphasize the humanitarian crisis that often accompanies protracted conflicts. In Karam Meshan, northern Shiwa, Fano forces launched an attack on an ENDF camp, resulting in the destruction of several heavy weapons. The strategic targeting of military assets showcases the tactical prowess of the Fano forces in this evolving conflict. Moving to Lemi and Saro, northern Shiwa, Fano forces initiated an attack on another ENDF camp, further highlighting the widespread nature of the conflict within the region. In Iwa, Waro, Janete, Western Wello, fighting persists, with the ENDF deploying heavy weapons and engaging in shelling from Gwasa. This use of heavy artillery indicates the severity of the conflict and its potential impact on civilian populations in the vicinity. Commencing in Gonder city, where the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, ENDF shelling, has resulted in the tragic death of 3 Amhara civilians. The numbers, however, are expected to rise, with 50 civilians reportedly affected by the intense fighting. This unfortunate incident underscores the devastating consequences that urban conflict can have on innocent lives. Transitioning to Kokit, Metima, Gonder, reports reveal that Amhara militias have taken a life, claiming the existence of one Amhara civilian, a youth who was not only a resident but also a business owner. The deliberate targeting of civilians adds a layer of cruelty to the already dire situation in the region. In Mersa, situated in northern Wello, ENDF soldiers are allegedly responsible for the murder of civilians after reportedly imprisoning them for days. The blatant disregard for human life and the rule of law in this instance is deeply troubling, highlighting the need for accountability in times of conflict. In the 01 district, Kurt Amba, Mersa, another alarming incident, transpired as ENDF soldiers allegedly murdered an Amhara civilian named Hussein Yusuf. The act occurred in close proximity to the ENDF camp, raising questions about the safety of civilians residing near military installations. Moving to Niniber, Mersa in northern Wello, ENDF soldiers are reported to have murdered an Amhara civilian, forcibly removing him from a transportation bus. The seemingly arbitrary nature of these acts underscores the vulnerability of civilians in transit, further complicating the humanitarian crisis in the region. Este, situated in southern Gonder, witnessed the tragic murder of an Amhara civilian named Marka Molla, a farmer, outside his home by ENDF soldiers. This incident highlights the distressing impact of the conflict on individuals in their daily lives and places of residence. In Gogo and Mekoabia, northern Gayant, southern Gonder, 2 Amhara civilians fell victim to the violence, reportedly murdered by ENDF soldiers. The loss of innocent lives in these regions adds to the growing toll on civilian populations caught in the crossfire. The situation takes a darker turn in Samada to Agona Welela Behar, southern Gonder, where ENDF soldiers are alleged to have murdered several Amhara civilians in retaliation for an earlier ambush in the area. The cycle of violence and revenge exacerbates the humanitarian crisis, further underscoring the urgent need for de-escalation and intervention to protect civilian lives. On the road from Yellen, Shiwa Robit, ENDF soldiers reportedly murdered 2 Amhara civilians by forcibly removing them from a transport bus and executing them on the road. Such heinous acts raise serious concerns about the protection of civilians during transit and highlight the vulnerability of those caught in conflict zones. As these updates depict, the humanitarian crisis in these regions is reaching critical levels, necessitating urgent attention from the international community to address the rampant violations of human rights and protect innocent lives. The complexity and gravity of the situation demand a concerted effort to bring about lasting peace and stability in these embattled regions. We will continue to monitor and provide updates as events unfold, striving to bring awareness to the unfolding tragedy in the affected areas. Stay tuned for further developments.